Our next speaker, I met this person. I met them in Oregon back in I want to say 2019. And at the time, they were doing work as in the role of a youth support partner, which is a position that's on interdisciplinary teams where they supported and advocated the young person at the table, and sometimes that young person may have been 6, 7, 8, teenager. It varied. But one thing I can say about the program is wraparound was truly nothing about the youth without the youth and the family at the table. And Nikobi was destined to make changes. Even then, they had a voice. They weren't afraid to speak up and use their voice and advocate for the young person that they were working with. They carry a strong spirit of change. And now they are embodying this ability in the Oregon Health Authority's community engagement of operations and policy. They are working in the youth and adult achievement department. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Nikobi Petronelli, and they are also, I'm going to let them introduce the person that's with them, Gray. Is there they are.
Bronwyn, thank you. And thank you for being such a guiding force and walking alongside me while I was a young person supporting young people. Those were grounding mornings outside of juvenile court. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Nikobi Petronelli. I use she, they pronouns, and I identify as a person with lived experience, a peer, and a fierce advocate for youth voice in behavioral health policy arenas. I am part of a team of 9 incredible individuals who are working with community, in my case, youth and young adults, to ensure that lived experience and community leadership is the central driving force in our mission to address health inequity statewide. And we are a unique team, I must say, because we all came to this work rooted in peer values, as we're all certified peer support specialists and come from the peer role. We're connected with our communities from Chiloquin to Portland Metro to Lapine. And we have a vast spectrum of lived experience. So this means that we too are part of the us and the nothing about us in the policy arenas that we occupy, and we embody connection. I personally do not believe that power is something that youth are given, as they already possess power beyond our wildest imagination. And it really is our job to really bring that to the highest level and have youth power seen on the highest stage. And although my professional title might insinuate that I can directly speak to the needs of youth and how they wish to be engaged, or what their experiences may look like, I am no true subject matter expert, because they are. So before I pass the stage to someone beyond qualified to speak about youth and young adult experience, I'm gonna read a letter written by a young leader on an old team of mine to the governor. And I have this posted on my desktop because it always reminds me why I'm grounded in this work, from the words of somebody who's doing that directly. And so let's start. Okay, this is from Olivia Nelson to Governor Kate Brown during the 2021 legislative session. Olivia wrote, "I cannot express the degree to which I am inspired daily by the energy, passion, insight, and lived experience Oregon youth and young adults continuously bring to this work. through innovation, daily engagement with the systems that affect us, insight through experience, and brilliant ideas for change and improvement in our systems and policies, I feel it is absolutely paramount for Oregon youth and young adults to be included in statewide legislative efforts at all levels and degrees of policy work. The power of youth testimonies and engagement is unparalleled, made possible only by the sheer passion and energy young folks bring to this field. I am constantly baffled by the sheer excitement and vibrancy my peers hold for enacting change and improvement across our state. We would love for you to know that we are here to provide voice, give guidance, and share feedback regarding Oregon's suicide prevention and mental wellness efforts in any way possible or welcome. We are here for you and your team to share the voice of youth and young adult perspective at any time it is desired. And that was written by a junior in high school. So I want to introduce Gray, again, our designated subject matter expert. This young adult has been such a force. And watching Gray come into their own from the first day that they joined my youth council back in 2021, I want to say, to now is really a story of just advocacy at its finest. Just to give some highlights as to how Gray has been engaged in statewide policy mental health efforts in order. And these are just the highlights. Gray was a member of my YYEA team, so the Youth and Young Adult Engagement Advisory Council, the Youth and Young Adult Engagement Advisory Council and Healthy Transitions Project Pilot Mentorship Program, is an active member of the Oregon Alliance for Suicide Prevention, spoke as a panelist and read an incredible letter at the Oregon Suicide Prevention Conference in 2021 through Lifeline, advised the OHA Child and Family Behavioral Health Unit's policy vision paper, and has done that through CSAC as well as a youth participant. In collaboration with myself and OHA, Gray co-planned, facilitated, and participated in feedback events and care conversations with upwards of 30 youth and young adults statewide regarding 988 crisis system planning, and is currently an active member of the 988 crisis system steering committee. And it was all tears during the 2021 legislative session, where we really got to see Gray on a huge platform in advocacy for Senate Bill 52 and House Bill 2315, as they set the stage for youth policy and advocacy by weaving together testimonies, poetry, and artwork. And of course, during this time, Gray started working in the field as a young adult, supporting younger adults in residential programs and using their lived experience to walk alongside younger young adults and their recovery journeys. So it is an honor to hand this portion of the speech over to a true subject matter expert. Thank you for having me, and Gray, do your thing.
Thank you, Nikobi. Wow, I'm all choked up. And everything that I've done that Nikobi just mentioned, I wouldn't have been able to do without Nikobi's fierce cheerleading and calling me in like, you should do this thing. I have this opportunity. You're doing this thing. And I didn't ever think of myself as powerful. I never thought I would be doing anything like this. And Nikobi amplified a voice that I didn't think anyone cared to hear. And so I really wouldn't have been able to do it without her, without them. And I adore them. Okay. I'll try not to go over time. I talk fast. The future is a concept that makes a lot of us panic And when you're informed about what's happening in the world, it's the correct response to be panicked. What we're up against can make us run through our zombie apocalypse plan in our heads. We ask ourselves, what's strong enough to overpower hate and anger? How do we win? What would it be like to not want to die sometimes? Could I even get to this place with the state of the world? These are not the questions I try to answer anymore. Now I ask myself, the world around me, all of you, what is the most impossible thing you can think of? If you could wave a magic wand, what would a better future be like? How would that future feel? I spent the majority of the year working in a residential treatment facility for teenagers struggling with their mental health. When I really want to dream, I think about them, and it helps me break open the limitations of what's possible. What if the future was focused on learning from each other, taking care of each other, acting from a place of interdependence? I have seen the most beautiful moments of possibility when the youth mirror things we do to support them back onto us when we're pretending we're okay and we're not okay at all. I will never forget a time where one of my very first patients sat down in front of me and looked at me with such a sureness that they could bring me back to myself. They knew they could. I could see it in their eyes. So real quick, I'm going to take us back in time just so I can share a moment that I had this year. We're in the past. It's the end of my first month working in a residential health facility for teenagers, the first job in the field. I'm on the clock, I'm having an anxiety attack. Freaking out because I'm on the clock having an anxiety attack. We don't have enough staff for me to write it out in the break room and pretend I'm taking a phone call. So I'm trying to look busy and unavailable to the patients. I'm buzzing around the room, thinking that this is literally the worst place to have an anxiety attack because when you work in mental health, there's a good chance most of the people know what an anxiety attack looks like. I'm spiraling, I'm gonna get fired, and you're one of my patients. You sit down right in front of me, blocking my flight path. You lock me into your eye contact, gesturing from the chair or to the chair across from you. You have a gentle look on your face that also says, "Great, you look crazy, sit down." You look at me, I look at you. You're seeing me, I'm seeing you seeing me. And I noticed that 1, you look wholly determined to help me back to myself. 2, you know you can. 3, you know how to do it because we've been teaching you every time we do this for you. I'm realizing these things and realizing that I don't think I've ever felt more vulnerable and crumpled in front of someone I wanted to be so strong for. And your eyes look into mine like magnets, like no one else is here, even though through the side conversations, other patients are absolutely paying attention. All of you seeing me at such an unraveling point sends my heart sinking in the ocean of my chest, like I failed you, like I'm bad at this job, I don't know how to not cry sometimes. Your voice cuts through the scribbled panic in my head, and you ask me, is the chair hard or soft? Is the chair hard or soft? I asked you this question like Tuesday. And that's why you're kind of smiling. You figured it out. Now you get to help. Now you get to show me that you learned how to do it. And I'm so moved and so proud of you that my anxiousness starts to melt away. Surrendering to being a student instead of a teacher because you're leading right now, not me. Is the chair hard or soft? I identify the chair under me and answer through my mask and through my tears. And I say, hard. You nod once, like, good, and ask me the second half. Can the chair hold you? You're still locking eyes with me. You can feel the chair under me, and I know that yes, the chair can hold me. I nod through the happy tears. And in this moment, you asked me in a wordless language, can you let us hold you the way you've held us? The way you taught us to hold each other? You taught me that I don't have to pretend I'm okay. Don't you do the exact same thing like a hypocrite. We're still here with you. Out loud, I say, thank you. I smile. You smile. I can breathe again. I look around the room and everyone in the room is smiling. Everyone in the room is proud. Coworkers and patients, adults and teenagers, just smiling at each other, grateful for each other's aliveness, proud of the kids that sometimes school us with our own lessons, beautiful and all of the mess it can be, all of the mess it will and should be. How many ways can we say I love you without saying anything at all? How incredible it is, the thought that we can bring each other back to themselves, to ourselves, to this world with so much love, that the love makes it as easy as breathing. This is a superpower that can move continents, boil oceans, split land. It can save lives, protect each other, heal our wounds. This is the energy that is self-creating, sustainable, generative, powerful, world-changing. This is the future. This is the future. This is how we survive. Through releasing ideas that we know it all, allowing ourselves to follow someone else's lead, even though they're younger than you. We take turns here. I'm going to leave you all with a quote from Adrienne Marie Brown's Emergent Strategy, where she quotes Naima Penniman. And she says, or they say, when Hurricane Katrina slammed into the Gulf Coast, almost everything lost its footing. Houses were detached from their foundations, trees and shrubbery were uprooted, signposts and vehicles floated down the rivers that became of the streets. But amidst the whipping winds and surging water, the oak trees held its ground. How? Instead of digging its roots deep and solitary into the earth, the oak tree grows its roots wide and interlocks with other oak trees in the surrounding area. And you can't bring down 100 oak trees bound beneath the soil. How do we survive the unnatural disasters of climate change, environmental justice, over-policing, mass imprisonment, militarization, economic inequality, corporate globalization, and displacement? We must connect in the underground, my people. In this way, we shall survive. And that is where I will leave you. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you for having us.